So what does it take to succeed in business? And I'm going to teach you something that most of you have never heard. It's called Teachability Index. What is it called, please? Teachability Index. So the question is, what's your Teachability Index? Even right this moment while you're in this room. And let me tell you what might be stopping some of you all. This will change your life if you get it. First, you came to a class not really knowing what you're going to get. And I can understand, I'm skeptical. Anybody in here a little skeptical? You know, you go to seminars and events, you don't know, are they just going to sell me something or whatever? Well, I'm going to give you something. That's our goal, is to give you something. But the question is, what's your teachability index right this moment? Are you like somewhat closed, thinking, yeah, it's all good. I want to know how much money he's making. I want to, whatever, I want to know this, I want to know that. Or is your teachability index like at a 3 or 5? I'm going to show you how you will know what your teachability index is and whether or not you are really ready to learn. The thing that's going to take you to the next level is really going to be how teachable you are. See, if you have the idea, I already heard that before. I read that in Rich Dad's book. No, there's some people that actually think that way, even though I put a lot of stuff out there that he didn't put in his book just now. I did. But there are those in you in the room that's like a sponge. You're open. You're saying, you know what? It's like for me. I don't care who delivers my mail. I don't care who delivers the mail. Just bring me the checks. I don't care who put that mail in my mailbox. They can bring a donkey. Anybody can come and do that. I want the mail. So for those of you that haven't decided whether you like me, forget that. Get what I'm about to teach you. Maybe you'll like me later. I don't care about that. So, what's your teachability index right now? So, I personally was not that teachable. That was my problem, pride. Oh, I kind of already know. I already have a business. I'm doing pretty good. I ain't never worked for nobody else. And, kind of let that ego keep me from going to new levels. And I just was not coachable. Can anybody relate to that? Are there anybody in the room that would admit that maybe, just maybe, you would go further if you were a little bit more coachable? Raise your hand if that's true. It's true for me. One thing I love about my team back there, they'll be the first ones to raise their hand on that. So, I have a coach. So here's the way to determine your teachability index. It's your number one, your willingness to learn. What is it, please? Your willingness to learn. So, my question to you is, how much or how willing are you to learn what it's going to take for you to build a successful business? How willing are you? How much do you want to learn this? And I can tell you how you can tell your teachability index right now. Somebody would say, you know what, I really want to learn this, but I hope that he's done by 9 because the Dancing with the Stars, that thing comes on at 9 o'clock. Seriously. And I hope he's done. And you already got your plan, if it starts at 9, of how you're going to dash out of here. I'm going to teach you a major lesson that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life, I hope. So somebody says, yeah, okay, I'm really, really willing to learn. So I'm going to ask the question, what's your teachability index? How willing are you to learn how to become a successful entrepreneur? On a scale from 1 to 10, what's your level right now? Somebody tell me. 10. Okay, good. I believe you. I believe you. How many say, you know what, maybe not a 10, but maybe an 8? Thank you for being honest. So here's some of the ways you can start to tell. What are you willing to give up to learn this? This ain't the only question I'm going to ask you. But what are you willing to give up to learn how to become an entrepreneur? To learn how to grow your own business? I'm going to give you some examples. So for me, I wanted this bad. So the first thing I wanted was my spiritual life. I said, I want a relationship with God that is intimate and awesome. I don't want what everybody else has. A lot of hypocrites out there. A lot of people talk about Jesus, but they ain't really living for him. I don't want that. I want this bad. So I started with developing my spiritual life. For 17 years, I didn't set foot in a movie theater. Not because I'm better. I didn't want that. I wanted this. I didn't watch a movie. I missed sports for years. Y'all get that? Y'all didn't get that. Y'all get that? Are you willing to, watch this. I'm going to get you on this one. I'm going to get all the men on this one. What if you had to give up sports for 6 months to learn this? What if you had to miss a football season? What's your teachability index? How bad do you want to do it? What's your favorite thing you love to do, but you would be willing to give it up? Somebody says sleep. Okay, so let's talk about giving up that sleep. What's your teachability index? Your willingness to learn. How bad do you want to learn it? What would you be willing to give up? Would I be willing to give up sleep? What's that favorite thing I love to do? Is it a hobby? Is it recreation? Is it, I really just like my life the way it is, and I don't want nobody upsetting it. Watch this. You're going to find your teachability index in just a second. Oh, no, I'm going to keep it this way. So now, another way to determine this, okay, so here's something that Steve DaCosta made reference to it. This class is free. So, of course, people will come because it didn't cost them any money to come, but it still costs you your time, and I value that. But place a $100 value on it, and that's what it would have cost. Half the people wouldn't be in this room right now. You know why? Your teachability index also is determined by what you're willing to pay to learn something. Oh, this training is $1,000. I'm not going. Your teachability index is not where you think it is. You can only tell by what you're willing to do. I wanted to go to a seminar one time, and I didn't know where it was going to be. And they were talking about it, and I was all pumped up, and then I found out it was in Anaheim, California. So the question is, wait a minute. I just said I wanted it, but I don't want it bad enough to go to Anaheim. But that wasn't me. I went. I couldn't find one cotton-picking person that was willing to go with me, though, so I went by myself. Everybody else was talking about they wanted to go, or they wanted to build a business, or they wanted to be successful. Not one of them would get on a plane and fly to Anaheim, California to get it. Are y'all feeling what I'm saying? You can tell what your teachability index is by what you're willing to do, even when it's uncomfortable, in order to get this. So look, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I gave up everything to do it. And now I have an awesome dream life. I get to stay in the best hotels. I get to fly places. I have my own beautiful training company. I get to meet incredible people like you. I don't ever have to work for nobody else again. That is a blessing. Don't look jealous. I saw some of y'all look jealous. Say, be happy for me. Okay, but look, so watch this. I need a volunteer. Anybody. Come on, Ramsey. Everyone say, Ramsey, you're awesome. So, Ramsey, what I need you to do, I need you to choose a chair. Choose whichever one you want. We know which one she's going to choose, right? Yeah, choose a chair. Oh, so she chose success. Really? So that means she didn't choose what? Here's the problem, everybody. You want success, but you want other things too. Don't we? Oh, yeah, I want it. But, man, I still want to be able to sleep in. I still want my weekends free. I still want a Saturday I want off. But how many know entrepreneurs don't automatically get Friday and Saturday off? I want to be able to go, but I don't want to have to pay $5,000 for a training. I've done this, everybody. I spent money on training when it was hard. I spent money on training when I couldn't stay at the hotel where the event was. I had to stay at a hotel down the street near Denny's or McDonald's so that I could eat there. Y'all get that? Oh, I barely made it to the event. I spent every dime. When I went to that event in Anaheim, that was like about 15 years ago now. I couldn't even leave my wife hardly any money. I know what it's like to completely go broke. You're not an entrepreneur until you've gone broke 3 times at least. You got to go broke a few times if you're an entrepreneur. Hey, you're welcome, man. I should have told you in advance, right? But that doesn't mean you're going to lose stuff. I didn't lose my house. I didn't lose my car. I didn't lose any of that stuff. I just hated being broke. And guess what? I needed that because it made me mad. Did anybody ever get mad? Just get mad with where you are? I'm tired of just being at this just enough place, tithing and giving, and I'm still here. So anyway, when she chooses success, here's what I know. We say we want success. I'm talking about Bob Yates right now. Y'all get that? I want higher levels of success, and I want some other things too that's not helping me get there. I love sports. I love basketball season. I love football season. But during those times I gave it up is when I became who I am now. I know what it's like to turn the plate over and fast for 15 days with no food. Not 1 ounce of food. Why? Because I wanted something really bad. God, I got to know your will. I got to know what your will is for my life. I can't be in the dark anymore. I'm tired of fishing for it. I'm tired of hitting and missing. I'm tired of struggling. Please show me what it is you put me here to do. Can y'all relate to that? Yes. I want this thing bad. I turn over that plate for 15 days. I remember when I did this. It was in 1990. For 15 days, I did not turn on the TV. For 15 days, I didn't turn on a radio. I didn't even talk to people. I went somewhere where I could be by myself so that I could only be influenced by God himself. Y'all get that? At some point in your life, you're going to come to that moment where, you know what, I've had it. I can't drift. I can't just live in this place called normal, this place called average. Hello, somebody. That's what I did. And then the year or two later, I went on a 21-day fast. And I'm telling you all this because do you think I wanted some other things? Yes. Oh, man. I fasted through Thanksgiving. I fasted through Christmas. And for those of you that don't know what fasting does, fasting is a spiritual exercise that you are shutting down one of your most powerful appetites for food, a necessity to say, God, I want something greater than food. I want your will. I want to fulfill my purpose. I want to know you better than I want this food. Y'all get that? 21 days. You could see my ribs when I was done. I'm telling you, but I wanted that thing so bad. When I came out of that, I was fearless. I didn't care what man thought about me. All of a sudden, I had crystal clear vision. I knew what I was supposed to do. You couldn't talk me out of it. I don't care if you didn't believe, my wife didn't believe, my children didn't believe. And I actually had to go through that where they didn't believe. And that's okay. It changed my life because I got up out of this chair and I decided I want this thing. So the question is, what's your teachability index? How bad do you want to be an entrepreneur? How bad do you want your freedom? How bad and what are you willing to give up to get it? And this subject makes people very uncomfortable, but we know it's the freaking truth, right? It's what's going to make the difference in your life right now is what you're willing to give up in order, because life is nothing but a trade-off. You're going to trade your time for something, and I want to commend you about something. When you chose to be here tonight, you said no to everything else that you could have done tonight. You traded that off for this. Are you glad you did? Yes. Now, I can tell you this. There are few people, that are willing to give up this. Few. Everybody wants freedom. I ain't questioning that. But they don't want it bad enough. So watch this. You can stay right there, Ramsey. Ramsey's one of my mentees. She's going to be wealthy because she's teachable and coachable. But not only is she teachable and coachable, she puts her money where her mouth is. I'm her coach. She cannot, look, when I coach somebody and when I work with somebody, there's two things I'm looking for. Willingness to learn. The second one is willingness to change. Willingness to what? Change and learn. And then also, what's their willingness to invest? That's when you lose half the people right here. Do you know the best investment you're ever going to make is not in mutual funds, it's not in CDs, it's not in stocks. What's the best investment you're ever going to make? That's why I never had to work for nobody else. I never invested in stock in McDonald's or any of these other companies. I invested in myself. And it changed everything. Now I can invest in those other things. So, watch this. I'm taking longer on this than I planned to, but this lesson right here is, even if I started teaching some of the other stuff, There's some of you now that are just starting to become teachable since I started teaching this. You weren't before. And watch this about teachability. Your teachability index went up since you came in the room for some of you. It was lower when you came in. At different parts of the day, it's higher than others. Okay, so I was at my Florida event 2 years ago, and this guy is one of my mentors, and he came in the room to my event. Whose event was it? Yours. My event. But I invited him to speak at my event. And he started coaching me right away, and I started listening to him because he's been involved in events much larger than mine, right? To give you an example of that, you see that crowd he's speaking to right there? It's probably about 3,000 to 4,000 people in that audience. He's in Singapore. He's in Asia. He's overseas. He says over there 5,000 people is normal. In the States, it's not, because we got too many people want to watch American Idol and Dancing with the Stars, and there's too many seminars going on, so if they miss one, they'll just say, I'll catch the next one. Over there, that's not how it is. So he's done some things that I needed to learn. And so I listened to him, and I realized, though this is my event, you have something that I never thought of because you've done this 1,000 times. Teachable. Got to be. Now, here's the thing. I wasn't always that way. I'm becoming that way. And let me tell you why I'm becoming that way and the thing that will really change your life. I'm realizing how little I know, how dumb I can be. How many have ever realized that yet? Yeah. It's like we don't know anything. We think we know stuff. You don't know it until it's working in your life. You don't know it until you're doing it. I don't care how many books you read on it. The things that I can teach you are the things that I do. So I'm not standing here before you as somebody that has never run a business or that has a side job. I don't. So watch this. Willingness to learn, willingness to change. This is how you determine your teachability index. So the question is, when you leave the class, for those of you that's been with this class a long time ago, many times, no, I haven't taught this part in the class. But the reason why I'm teaching this, because I'm learning, I've been teaching people who were not ready to learn yet. The Bible talks about 4 kinds of ground, right? Good ground, stony ground, thorny ground, fallow ground. And even Jesus couldn't teach some people because their ground wasn't ready. So what I want you to think about before you even start to get into business or taking it to the next level, it's going to cost you something. What are you willing to give up to get there?